Hello guys, this is another series brought to you by Riyad Quba, an English teacher. This series is devoted not only to fourth year students this time, but also to all high school students. In this series, we're going to learn how to answer the language exercises that you have in your exams. If you're interested and you want to find out more, please continue watching this video. This is the first video in a three-part series, and it's going to be about how to answer the tense and form question. The second one is about the fill in the blanks exercise, and finally we will focus on the circle the right alternative question. If you find this video interesting and useful, please share it with your friends and send it to as many of your friends as possible so that they can make the most of it. We will take this simple exercise to learn how to answer it and maximize our chances to get the full mark. First, you need to keep in mind that when teachers prepare such exercises, they try to insert and add some clues or hints in almost each sentence in order to teach the students how to find them and thus help them answer the question. The first thing you need to start with is reading the paragraph and trying to underline all the signal words, phrases, or hints in each sentence. Read as many times as possible because reading the paragraph one time is not enough to find all the clues in most cases. The more you read the paragraph, the better you understand it. Second, I advise you to write on a piece of paper and try to remember some rules that you might need with such exercises. For example, write down the following rules such as adjective plus noun, adverb plus adjective, and or a plus noun, more plus than, adjective plus ly, an adverb, er or or when we want to form the person noun. It is also necessary to remember the signal words that we use with every tense. For example, we use ago when in 2010 with the simple past. We use for, since, so far, already, over the past few weeks or days with the present perfect. We use every day, every week, sometimes with the simple present tense. And we use now, right now, currently with the present progressive tense. Other steps and strategies you need to keep in mind when you have to put the verb in the right tense are the following. First, identify the signal word or phrase. Second, identify the tense. Then, identify the rule of that tense. After that, identify the subject. And finally, apply the rule. I will explain later on why we need these steps and strategies and how to use them. Be careful here in the case of any misspelling of a word or any missing letter, you will not get the mark for that answer. Write these tips, tools, and strategies you need to deal with the language exercises on a piece of paper. By doing that, you will maximize your chances of getting the full mark. Let's put what we've talked about into practice with this exercise. First, we will read the paragraph and underline all the signal words and hints that we need. Online learning teaches students entirely or primarily online or through the internet. It has been defined as education that uses one or more technologies to deliver instruction to students who are separated from and we have the verb to instruct. The first signal word here is the. So we will underline it. Here we should ask ourselves a question. Who are the students separated from? From who? When we ask this question, we find the type of answer right away. The missing word should be the person noun. In addition, because the precedes the word instruct, and because instruct is not an adjective, to think of giving the superlative form. The most plausible answer is to think of the person noun from the verb instruct. As we said earlier, when we want to form the person noun, we usually add the suffixes er or or to the verbs to get the person noun. For example, we can say teach, teacher, play, player, dance, dancer, act, actor. So the correct answer is the instructor. Let's do another example before giving you the floor. Online education, we have the verb exist all around the world and is used for all levels of education. This is the second sentence. Online education is a subject which comes in the singular form, and is used is a simple present tense. The conjunction and is our indicator. We have to pay attention to parallelism or parallel structure with the conjunction and. For example, if we have a verb before and, so we need a verb after it. If we have a noun before and, so we need another noun after it. So the correct answer here is exists, verb plus s, because the tense that we have before and is the simple present tense. So the tense after it should be the simple present tense. The students' main problem is that they sometimes manage to find the correct tense, but they don't get the mark, either because they miss the auxiliary or because they forget to add an s or ed of the past participle form. Let's apply the rules that we talked about earlier. When you follow these steps, you have more chances to answer correctly. First, identify the signal word. The signal word here is and is used. Then identify the subject, which is online education. Then identify the tense, which is the simple present tense. Then identify the rule of the simple present tense when the subject is singular. We add s to the subjects, he, she, and it. Then apply the rule, and the answer is online education exists. So we have added s to the verb. Pause now the video for 10 minutes to do the exercise at your ease, and then we will correct. Now let's correct. The next sentence is, this type of learning enables the individuals take recognized examinations or advance to the next level of education over the internet. Here, the signal word we have is the verb enable. We say to enable someone to do something. So the correct answer is to take. The next sentence is virtual education. Then we have the verb to become, increasingly used worldwide over the past few years. The signal phrase in this sentence, which is over the past few years, is obvious. This is why the correct answer should be to put the verb become in the present perfect tense. So the correct answer is has become, indicating that this is a state which started in the past and is continuing to the present. Again, let's apply these rules we've talked about earlier to make sure we get the full mark. First, identify the signal word or phrase. So the signal phrase here we have is over the past few years. Then identify the subject, which is virtual education and which comes in the singular form. Then identify the tense, which is the present perfect tense. Then identify the rule of the present perfect tense when the subject is singular, has plus past participle. Then apply the rule, virtual education has become. Easy, right? Let's carry on then. There are current more than 4,700 colleges and universities that provide online courses to their students. Current is an adjective. To form an adverb, we usually add ly to the adjective. For example, happy, happily, sad, sadly, quick, quickly. In this context, current, so it becomes currently. One of the signs that shows that we need an adverb is that it can be omitted from the sentence and the sentence would remain grammatically correct. We can say there are more than 4,700 colleges. What we want to add here is an adverb of time derived from the word current, which should give us currently. In 2015, more than 6 million students, then we have the verb to take at least one course online. This one here is very easy. The signal time indication is clear. We have in 2005, so we have to use the simple past tense. So what is the simple past of the verb to take? It's definitely took. However, taken is the past participle. Let's apply the rules that we've talked about earlier to make sure we get the full mark. First, identify the signal word. The signal word here is in 2015, or we can say 2015. Then, identify the subject, which is more than 6 million students, and we have a subject in the plural form. Then, identify the tense, which is the simple past. Then, identify the rule of the simple past, which is subject plus verb plus ed or subject plus irregular verb. Then apply the rule. We have took. So you have to keep in mind these steps, especially when you have to put the verb in the right tense to make sure you get the full mark. So let's carry on now. This number grew by 3.9 from the previous year. The previous year is our signal phrase, which refers to the year 2013. Again, this is a past context. So we will put the verb grow in the simple past, which is grew. Again, let's apply the rules that we've talked about earlier to make sure we get the full mark. First, identify the signal word or the signal phrase. The signal phrase here is the previous year. Then we have to identify the subject, which is this number. Then we have to identify the tense, which is the simple past. Then identify the rule of the simple past, which is subject plus verb plus ed or subject plus irregular verb. Then you apply the rule. This number grew. By doing that, you get the full mark. Let's move on now. Great. Almost 30% of higher education students take now at least one distance course. The signal word here is now, which indicates the use of the present progressive. So the subject is almost 30% of all higher education students, which comes in the plural form. Thus, the correct answer are now taking. Another point worth mentioning is the adverb placement. When the tense is the present progressive tense, the future tense, the past progressive, the present perfect, or the past perfect, when the tense is made up of two words or two parts, the adverb is always placed between the auxiliary and the past participle or the ing. So it comes in between. For example, I can say, I am now correcting the exercise. Another example, I will always be on time. Another example, I was just sending an email. Another example, I have never seen the movie. And finally, he had always dreamt of visiting the United States. The next sentence is, the total number of students staying on campus exclusive, dropped by 93,317 people between the years 2012 and 2015. As you can see, we have the subject, the total number of students staying on campus, and the verb dropped. There is a missing word in between. In this position, we can only need an adverb. As we said earlier, we add ly to an adjective to form the adverb. So the correct answer is exclusively. The last sentence is, experts say that the number of students enrolled in distance learning. This part here is the subject. Then we have to put the verb expect in the right form, which is expected. We have to use the passive voice here simply because the number cannot expect itself. It is expected by who? By people. So it is not the subject but rather the object. Now that we have learned how to deal with such an exercise, let's move on to the practice section. Here is another exercise. Pause the video and do the exercise at your ease, then write down your answer in the comment section below and I will send you the correction back with the explanation. That's all for me, guys. We've come to the end of this video and these are its keynotes. As usual, you can screenshot this page and add it to your portfolio. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and also to make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. The next video will be about how to answer the fill in the blanks exercise. Stay tuned. Love and peace, Riyadh.